Hello, YouTubers and cinephiles. Welcome back to another edition of Nerd With Me Film Reviews with your host, John Ricky. And man, I gotta tell you, I just seen a film, a comic book film, not a movie, a comic book film that was just incredible. It's actually a little film. It's called Logan, starring Hugh Jackman. My God, this is the movie that we've been waiting for. This is literally Logan, aka Wolverine, unplugged. He's ripping fools left and right, but also there's a very human story. Probably the most human out of all of the X-Men films to date. And I am not lying about this. You will watch this and you will get the feels. Oh my God. This is probably the most emotionally charged X-Men film probably ever. I mean, like, legit. There's no getting around it, and it's such a small, intimate story with great visual effects, obviously. I mean, this is a story that should have happened with X-Men Origins, of the first standalone movie. This really is what it should have been. Even Wolverine, which was better but kind of fell apart at the end, but still pretty good. Also, this film is directed by the same director that directed the Wolverine, James Mangold. My God, this guy has an incredible resume. I mean, he brought back Stallone to like actual acting chops rather than just being the action guy with a movie called Copland like about 20 some years ago. That's an incredible film, and he brought the feels to the X-Men universe like no other has. Kudos to him. I can't wait to see what he does next. Now the story. Now if you've seen the trailer, I mean basically you probably watched it and thought, that's and if you're a gamer, that is The Last of Us with Wolverine in there. I'll tell you this, you are absolutely right. But not in like, oh, they stole from it, but it is just an incredible rendition of it, which is just so heartfelt and viscerally violent in a great way. You know, like I said before, this is the Wolverine movie that should have happened 10 years ago, just like Deadpool should have happened like 5 years ago. But, oh my God. So, yeah, anyway, the basic storyline is it's 2029. Wolverine is, the X-Men are disbanded. There might, and they don't really explain how, but supposedly all the X-Men, all mutants are like dying out. They're like going extinct. There's very few of them, and Wolverine just wants to, or Logan just wants to be left alone. He's moonlighting as a limo driver. He's putting all his money and taking care of Charles Xavier, who an incredible source of writing. Turns out that has like Alzheimer's. Now, Charles Xavier with Alzheimer's, that's a scary thought. And they really play with this to great effect, both emotionally and within the action. They really use this story arc to a T, and it's incredible, and it's really just sad because you're just like, man, Patrick Stewart came back. And by the way, this is probably the best way they could bring Patrick Stewart back to Charles Xavier. This does turn out to be like a great send-off for him. This type of story works for these two, especially since Hugh Jackman said this is probably going to be his last ride. He gives it his all, man. Wow. Anyway, so eventually Wolverine meets this lady who has this child. He keeps seeing her. She's technically kind of stalking him, but she wants him to take this little girl up to like in Canada or whatnot. She said she'll pay him. Of course, he refuses at first, but eventually everything just comes to head, and he goes on a journey with this little girl. And as you see from the trailer, she's a little bit of a badass. There's a little bit more to her. Of course, if you're comic book fans, you'll know that basically the little girl is X-23 Laura, basically Wolverine's daughter by cloning. So, I mean, that's not really it's a big reveal. You kind of figure that if you're a fan. If you're not, sorry, but they basically spell it out by the end. Everything happens there. He's getting chased by, I believe, Alkali Industries, his doctor character. But let's get on this. Wolverine's been taking care of Professor Xavier, trying to keep him docile, keeping him from having seizures, and his seizures cause these big, massive. Like, remember how he used to stop people with his mind? Like, now it's like it can literally kill people. So they gotta like dope him up a lot, and it's kind of sad because you're like, man, this is Xavier. I mean, he used to be able to like go into everybody's heads, and and now he just looks like a fetal, just a shell of himself, and it's just really just heartbreaking. But it works. It's heartbreaking in a great way, to great effect. It is well written. And that's what's great about this film, though, is just the way they really portray everyone's superpowers, or everyone's powers, in more of a dramatic fashion, where you're just like, damn, Wolverine's like actually getting old, and his claws aren't coming out like they used to. Like he's like he has like an ACL injury or something like that. He's like, almost like he's having a cane. And of course, Xavier with his telekinetic powers, where they're going seizures, and he's losing his mind. He's going into dementia. Even they bring in Caliban, who's brilliantly played by Steve Merchant, who is more of a comedian. He was on a television series Hello Ladies, which he wrote. He co-wrote the original British Office, and he really does well with just bringing this whole, this different version of Caliban, who's like just downtrodden, just defeated, basically. It's like, hey, it's the end of the line, and I'm done. And that's the whole thing about this. It's like Wolverine in this is actually in a massive depression, like so much so. And I mean, and that's the thing. It's less like, wow, you never really thought of these characters in like dire straits like that. You used to think of them as these big, just bigger than, larger than life characters, and here you are seeing them just broken and just at the end of their rope, and it's satisfyingly somber. And this whole film is a somber tale. There's a lot of quiet moments that work to great effect, where you're just like, man, I feel that. Even though I've never been in that situation, I feel that. And they're just ready to go. And all of a sudden, one day, this little girl comes into Wolverine's life, and he has one last redemption. This is his redeeming adventure for things that he's done. And that's like a big theme with this film. Like, all the berserker rage and everything like that takes its toll, and he wants to do this last thing. I mean, of course he doesn't want it at first, but eventually he just feels like he has to. I mean, Wolverine is the ultimate anti-hero, but he still has the hero part in him, even though he doesn't want to be, even though he doesn't mean to be, but he does have a sense of morality that, okay, I gotta do this right thing. If it's the last thing I do, I at least can say I did this. And that is a great theme about this. Also, with the fact that he meets a younger version of himself, he and she kind of feels the same way he does a little bit, because she just goes berserk on people and doesn't really think about it. And there is this very poignant through line with these characters. Like, he has to teach her that it's not alright. You know, you gotta pick it. You gotta learn to. And there's this great scene where it's like he says something along the lines of like, you gotta learn how to live with it. And that's what I think why this film is great, because you never had that in any other X-Men film, where you actually have the consequences of their actions. Every violent act in here, you know, it's a double-edged sword. Every action scene that looks awesome, but it takes a toll on the characters in such a emotional way that it's just like you never seen in any other X-Men movie. And that's the beauty of this. This makes me believe that, man, they really missed an opportunity with this film, because this film is so good that I think they should have held back on it and brought it out in like September to November, just to be considered for Oscar nominations, because Patrick Stewart gives a hell of a performance. Hugh Jackman, wow, man, it's like, dude, this was the juiciest version, dialogue-wise, theme-wise, for him as an actor on his character that he has mastered for 20 years, almost 20 years, and this should be like Sylvester Stallone in Creed. You know, like, he is that good in this film that I would be like, yo, if they would have released it better, I actually hope they re-release it, you know, just to give him consideration, because I think he should be up for an Oscar right now. I mean, yeah, we just had the Oscars and all that, but like, as of right now, this new year, yes, I will put him up there until the end of the year. It's incredible. Even the little girl. Now, for the first part of this movie, I was like, okay, yeah, all right, she's growling, not really saying much, and then at the end, it's like, okay, all right. And I'm like, I was thinking there was nothing to this character. You know, she's just like, oh, berserker. She's just a plot device to move the story along. But this girl really held her own against her. Now, I wouldn't put her up with Daughter from the Nice Guys with Russell Crowe and Ryan Gosling. That girl should have been up for Best Supporting Actress, because she was super, super good. Like, she held her own against Russell Crowe, against Ryan Gosling. But yeah, this girl was really solid, and it comes to a very satisfying. Yeah, this film, in the end, comes to a very, very satisfying end that is so poignant, so, you know, heartfelt. Like, I caught myself tearing up a few times in this film, where it's just like, oh man. It puts you through the ringer. It has everything, action, you know, a little bit of comedy, just in. So all in all, I put this film up in the upper echelon of comic book films. I mean, up there with Dark Knight, Avengers, Guardians of the Galaxy. It's right up there in the top 5 for me. Anyway, go see it. It's incredible. You'll love it. It's worth it. See it multiple times. Anyway, I'm gonna let y'all check that out. Happy that you guys listened to my little review. And hey guys, like, share, subscribe to Nerd with Me. You get more of these reviews. Catch you later. It's Cinephiles.